Hello, my fellow Ripplers. This is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. Welcome to our show. It's for you, those of you that work so hard for your money, and you're ready for your money to start working harder for you. You want that freedom and cash flow today, not 30 or 40 years from now, but right now, so you can live that life that you love doing what you love. Most importantly, guys, it's not just about getting rich, it's about living a rich life because as you're blessed financially, you have a greater capacity to bless the lives of those around you. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you guys that have been binging on these shows, going back to past episodes. By the way, key tip here, if you're a business owner or you're starting out a business, go back to the earliest ones. If you're more looking to invest, start with these ones and work backwards because the more recent, the better when it comes to the investing part of it. But there are some great episodes if you go back, especially to our early days. And you may even have to go all the way to blogtalkradio.com just to even find some of those very first episodes. Not the greatest quality, I know, but they're great anyways. As a reminder, if you have any questions for us, reach out to us, moneyripples.com. Take the passive income calculator now. If you want to find out how much passive income that you can create over the next year, go and check that out right now.
Chris Miles was able to retire twice by the time he was 39 years old. But he's not content to just enjoy his own financial freedom and peace of mind. Chris wants you to have your own ripple effect so you can live free today. He's not the financial advisor you expected. He's the anti-financial advisor you deserve. He's jumping behind the mic right now, ready to make waves. Here's Chris Miles.
Okay, today, guys, I'm actually back in the studio. Whether you knew this or not, I actually was out of town, out of the office, my home office, right? I actually went to Hawaii for over a month, and we're back again and recording. So all the previous episodes you've been watching for the last 2 months, really, for January and February, were actually recorded in 2022. But now there's been more things. We're going to March 2023. There's more things that have been happening, haven't there? There's definitely been some updates. Not much. I don't think really that much has changed, but I definitely want to address what I'm seeing right now based on things that I've been hearing from other investors, from operators, people like that actually have their ears on the ground and or they're actually in the trenches. They're already there on the front lines knowing what's going on in the market today. Because I'm telling you, the sentiment I'm starting to see is we get a lot of people that are kind of just procrastinating right now. Now, there might be excuses. People might say, well, I've got taxes to worry about, so I'll worry about investing later. Or, I've got, I'm just saving up my money for that next opportunity. When someone just tells me what to invest in, then I'll jump. And I'm here to tell you that if you have any of those kind of thoughts, or maybe you're holding back because you're scared, you're missing out, right? And I'm not here to create all this FOMO, fear of missing out. I'm not here to create that for you guys. I'm not here to create scarcity. I'm here to create some reality. Because the reality is that right now there are plenty of opportunities today. And even when I say today, I'm still recording this a few weeks in the past, right? So you're hearing this a few weeks later. There are opportunities right now on the verge. The key is you need to be on the trending side. You need to be leading the trend, not post-trend. See, when news comes out, when people tell you this is where all the money's being made right now, this is hot, that's when you know it's not, because the money's already been made. The people have already done it. And give you an example. I mean, just in the last 6 months or so, really the last year, 2022, we heard everybody saying, oh my goodness, people are competing with competing offers, buying a house. It's incredible right now. You can sell your house for top dollar. Well, what happens going into the summer of 2022? People still think they're going to get top dollar. Then they're shocked because as interest rates had risen, people weren't offering as much anymore. So when people are trying to sell their homes, like, I want people fighting over my house. People weren't fighting so much, were they? So that had stopped. Eventually, people caught on to that and they started saying now, oh, there's no longer competing offers. Now it's a hard time to sell. And so then they start saying, well, maybe this is better for buyers right now. Well, what's fascinating is that as I'm talking to some of my friends in multiple markets across the country, whether you're talking about Boise, Idaho, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Newark, New Jersey, doesn't matter. Whether you're looking at the South, the East, the West, the North, everywhere you look right now, it's about the same. Everybody's noticing that it's currently becoming a better seller's market. Why? Because all these people that held off on buying because they thought maybe now is not the right time to buy, because again, they heard the news that everybody was really asking too much for their property, they've been delaying. And of course, as interest rates rose, that didn't help things either. So everybody just kind of held off throughout the winter. Well, guess what? January going into February, now we're going into March. All these people are saying, guess what? We're actually having an easier time selling our properties. It's actually getting better. Now, this does not mean it's a seller's market. It just means it's a better seller's market because it was a horrible seller's market for a few months, especially. But just like what happened in March of 2020 when everything froze because everything shut down across the country, well, we started moving to the summer of 2022 and things picked up to try to catch up to it. Guess what? In the United States, people are still moving here. They still need housing. They still need a place to live. Some people delayed trying to sell their house because it was moving to winter anyways. They're now looking into the summer. So if you want to be in the forefront, you may want to sell your properties now. I'm not giving any investment recommendations. I'm just saying if you're looking to sell property, this early springtime might be your best opportunity, especially before we get into summer when people might say, well, I need to sell out of this and then buy into a new place. So you're going to start to see more transactions happening. This is also good news if you're a buyer, because as buyers are starting to creep back in the market and now there's starting to be a little bit of competition among the buying, it's still a good time because people still think it's bad time to buy. Understand that whatever people are saying in general in the market, it's the wrong. If people say it's a bad time to buy, that usually means it's a good time to buy. People say it's a bad time to sell. It's usually a good time to sell because news and hot tips are always behind the times. They're always behind the trend, not in front of it. So if you want to lead the trend, you want to be able to profit and make real wealth, you got to stay ahead of it. In fact, you got to just do the opposite. If everybody tells you to run away from the market, you run towards it. Everybody's telling you to buy in that market, you sell out of that market, you stay away from that market. This is why, again, last year I stayed away from crypto because I knew that in the spring of last year, especially when there was crypto experts saying, I think it's going to come down, I said, I'm going to profit and take that money out now and have it come down. So I took that money out and made a profit. Yes, I bought crypto and yes, I made money, but guess what? I ain't buying it. So anyways, that's just me personally. Some of you guys might disagree and that's fine. Proof's in the pudding. It's worked for me. And the thing is, for me, it's worked over the years, right? I made my mistakes in the last recession. I learned from them. That's why in these last boom years, and even as we're moving into this weird transitory type of time period where people can't decide whether it's a recession or not, that's why I'm still able to profit, right? I would also give you another warning. There's also going to be, because things are starting to dry up a little bit in the investment space, it's getting harder for people to make money with brainlessly, I should say. There's a lot of people that went and invested in real estate, that went and bought their apartment buildings, they hardly knew anything about what they're doing. And yet they bought them. And you're going to start seeing pretty soon those people getting burned. They're going to start needing more cash. They need to get cash out. They might realize they bought too high and they may not be able to get out. And so they're desperate, trying to figure out how to get out of their deals. This is going to start happening more and more. I've already seen this happening in the self-storage space. In self-storage, I was just talking with a guy back in December. He said, hey, it's much better now in December than it was in August, because in August, everybody was still asking for top dollar in self-storage. In December, he said that $1.6 million property that was being listed now is being listed at $1.15 million. And just last weekend, as I was talking with another self-storage guy, he said, yep, people are just starting to figure out that prices have come down. So when that little sweet spot happens, when reality sets in for people, they say, hey, you know how I rejected your offer, that low ball offer before? I'm willing to entertain it again. That's when you know you're in a good place. We're seeing that with residential real estate. Some of the turnkey providers that we have in our group, we're starting to see that now. They're starting to make lower offers and get it accepted, even though 10 days ago it didn't work. We're starting to see people now that are able to unload the properties and get a higher price for them too, depending on which market you're in, which kind of real estate you're doing. I'm talking more about the cheaper real estate is a great time to buy, and there's still some good opportunities even to sell, even in that market. So that's what I'm seeing. But the trend I'm seeing with people that are potential investors is that they've got the cash, they've got the ability to do these things, but they're just holding on for longer. Now, I thought it was all because of fear. I thought it must be because people are scared to death. They're afraid of losing money. That's got to be it. What I've come to find out, as I've started to really dig into people's psyche a little bit more, it's not. In some cases, they're almost waiting for that perfect opportunity because they hear recession. So they think, oh, well, I just got to wait for everything to come down. And what happens in the meantime is that you miss out on some of the best opportunities today, waiting for it to quote unquote come down. Could that happen in the stock market? Sure, absolutely. Especially if you don't do anything, right? Now, the difference is here is that there's plenty of alternatives, there's plenty of things. And yeah, are there some certain investments that maybe don't look as sweet today as they did before? Yes, but things are starting to look good. And because people keep their money on the sidelines, that opens up more opportunities for you to take action because now you're getting your money in some of these best deals currently. Like I said, I've seen these in real estate. I've seen this in the oil and gas sectors. There's been some great things there. I'm seeing it come back with self storage, but again, people aren't really talking about it yet. But they're there. I think not early this year, but I think maybe late 2023 or going into 2024, we might even start seeing some apartment buildings coming back on, coming back as good deals again. Once those prices settle back down from all the hype that had been built up in 2021 and 2022. So you're going to see that. But again, as a warning, just because you have the cash, you still need to be careful. And I know it sounds like I'm contradicting, but again, I'm trying to bring balance. The truth is always in the middle of the extremes, right? You got the extreme over here of, yes, you should go do it now. And then you got people say, don't do it. The truth is in the middle. You should be cautiously optimistic right now because there are a lot of charlatans out there, a lot of people trying to take your money, have no business being in this business, and yet they're taking people's money. There's a lot of people that say, hey, I can't find deals right now, so I'll just create a fund. And this fund will invest in whatever I find out there, and hopefully something will stick. Stay away from that. You want to stay with people, if they're doing investments, you want to stay with people that have been there and they've done it and they're still doing it. And it's part of their nature in the sense that they could almost know it like the back of their hand, right? They've done it so many times. They know exactly what criteria they have to meet, and they're not willing to bend on those rules. They are disciplined. They do the same old vanilla projects over and over. Those are the deals that you should be focusing on right now. If someone starts to come out with the new latest and greatest craze or something sexy and they haven't had a lot of experience with it, even if it could turn out well in your favor, I would just suggest be very careful and maybe just don't do it at all. My thing is like when I see that kind of thing, when in doubt, this is my own personal philosophy. When in doubt, stay out. Right. If I have any kind of doubts at all, I don't do it. If I feel good and confident and peaceful, it doesn't mean I don't get a little bit anxious or apprehensive, like, oh, we're gonna about to invest in this thing. Doesn't mean I don't feel that, but it means I don't feel a lot of concern or doubts or fears. That's a good thing. You should never let fear and scarcity enter into your investing. So that's the advice I have to give you guys today. There are plenty of opportunities, plenty of things you could be doing. I would recommend this. If you have between savings, maybe you got money sitting in the bank, maybe you got online savings, maybe you got money sitting in stocks or bonds that, you're starting to wonder if it's really a good place. Maybe you got money sitting in cash value life insurance, whether it's with us or somebody else. Maybe you got money sitting there you're wondering what to do with. Maybe you got some equity in your house, although equity from your house may or may not make sense depending on your situation. But if you've got money sitting there, maybe you got old 401ks from a previous employer, maybe you have some IRA money, Roth IRAs, whatever it might be, annuities. We've had a lot of people with annuities saying, these things aren't doing much for me. What now? If you've got money like that, and I would say, especially if you've got at least $250,000 of that, that's there in those kind of investments, you should be reaching out to us at moneyripples.com right now. Take that passive income calculator, see what number you get. That number comes in at least $15,000, $20,000. We should be talking, assuming you put in the numbers correctly, right? If you don't get that number, that's fine. Wealth Accelerator Academy is another good option. But again, I'm just telling you, there are deals available right now. And my biggest concern for you is that if you just put it off a little longer, put it off for several more months, maybe it's years, how much wealth will you miss out on? Because time is your only friend right now. But time is also your enemy when you don't take advantage of that time. Find a ways to do that. Don't go in guns blazing. We have some people that are younger in their 20s and 30s are like ready to take out the world, and they're taking big risks. We don't want that. Those people have to tell you to slow down, breathe, and then look at those investments. But for many of you, especially if you're past my age, like in your 40s and 50s and 60s, for you, it's a matter of you need some guidance. You need some direction. You need some education to know where the best deals are. We're not investment advisors. We're not going to tell you where to place that money, but we do provide guidance and a framework to help you figure out, I think these specific deals would be the best ones to look at for your goals. Look at these. Oh, by the way, we actually have some people that we vetted. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed. we've got some people in our network that actually could be a good fit for what you're trying to do. And we've had some amazing results. Just today I was talking with our coach, with Craig, and he was sharing some of the case studies that we had. He had a couple that was in their 20s. He works in the tech sector. So obviously in the technology industry, there's threats of layoffs. Passive income is big focus. They're younger. They were wanting to take higher risks and they wanted to do it now. But we had to slow them down, educate them first, and then say, now look. And so they're looking at, they actually been buying some turnkey investment properties, some rentals, getting some cash flow there, plus some tax advantages. They're also looking at like some funds and things like that actually are paying some decent returns. I'll tell you, we talk about all the time 10%. I'll tell people right now, even my own clients, don't always count on 10%. It might be 7, 8, 9%. We had one fund in our network that did 8.5%, lowest it's done since 2015. Why? Not because they lost money, because they put more money in cash reserves to shore up extra cash in their account for either one, in case things do go crazy in the market and they have some extra buffer there to protect their fund and make sure that people all get their money back and then make returns too. Or two, gives them extra money that if something doesn't happen as bad, but now opportunities show up, they might get even better opportunities to lend money towards. And so they're looking at that, but normally you get double-digit returns. That's still possible, but even if it's not, that fund did 8.5%. It's actually a fund that we advertise on the show, right? It's a sponsor of our show. And it did 8.5% last year, which is the lowest they've ever done. And the funny thing is that still beat the negative 20% of the stock market in 2022. And some people were like, oh, it didn't make 10% this year. At least it didn't lose 20. You know how long it's going to take you to make that money back? Good luck. You're going to wait years to even make up what they are able to do if they ever catch up at all. That's my point, guys, is that there's opportunities that people are missing out on right now. They're even holding on to the stock market. This might be the perfect time to get out of the stock market. I'm not claiming that that's the case, and I'm not giving investment advice. But who's to say that this is a new little high that we're at with the stock market? If it's hitting over 4,000 in the S&P 500, what if that's the highest it gets for the next couple of years? Maybe 5, 10 years. Would you look back and say, shoot, I should have done it then, and I didn't? And I could have been in other investments making me money while everybody else is losing money in the stock market. Just know if you do what everybody else does, which is put your money in your same old 401ks and IRAs and Roth IRAs, throw your money in there and hope that you're going to do something and be successful and have enough money for financial freedom, that won't happen. It hasn't happened yet. What makes you think it's going to happen in the future? People aren't financially free saving these mutual funds, but yet people still do it. I guarantee if you save the way that everybody else saves, you will get the same broke results everybody else has gotten. The choice is up to you. Do you want to take a different path? A path that's been proven to work better? Doesn't mean it's a guaranteed path, but man, you sure have a whole heck of a lot more odds of success than 0% chance of success saving in that mutual fund, those same old retirement accounts you've been told to invest in for the last several decades, and yet has been proven not to work. The choice is up to you guys, what you choose. The only time is now. What are you going to do with the time and the knowledge you have today? If you want to take action, do something. It doesn't have to be with us, right? You can always reach out to us on moneyripples.com, but it can be with anything. Just take action, move forward, and don't listen to what the masses are saying. Do the opposite. That's been my advice for many years, and it'll probably be my advice for years to come. Guys, make it a wonderful and prosperous week. We'll see you later.